One of the questions I received in the anonymous game of questions was, how do I go through things and still stay with a positive attitude? Well, my answer is Joseph. The story in the Bible of Joseph is one that I've held near and dear to my heart for several years. And so, if you don't know that story, let me tell you a little bit. Joseph was somebody who had great favor from his father, and as a result of his behavior, his brothers put him in a pit. And they put him in this pit as somebody that was spoiled and so on. From the pit, he was sold into slavery. From slavery, he gained favor and was a favorite of the owner. Not to be confused with, he had problems still. The wife accused him of rape because he did not succumb to her passes, because he had loyalty to the person that, even though he was in slavery, still showed him favor. As a result, he was put into jail. Even in jail, he still dreamed and still had a positive attitude, and he began to get favor again and got a position that made him the person that could give life back to others. Let me read something that I just found, and it's on my heart to share it with you because I know a lot of people need it right now during the holidays. It's not easy for everybody, and I always want to acknowledge that it's okay. So here's the story. Here's the insert. That Joseph is a person of great ability is not the point. The point is that he suffers, sometimes for a reason, sometimes for no reason, just as you and I suffer. He does not allow his suffering to crush him. He gains something valuable from it. Like Joseph, or like us, Joseph has no choice as to whether he suffers, but like us, he has the choice as to whether this suffering destroys him or transforms him. There are many stories about Joseph that add to what we find in the Bible. One of them takes place when he and his brothers return home from their father's funeral. On the way back, Joseph makes a detour and stops at an empty well which once held him captive. For a long time he stands at the well's edge and looks down into the darkness. His brothers assume that he does this to remind them of how they once mistreated him. But that is not the reason. He stares into the well, that place where his transformation began, to remember his past and express gratitude to God. That is what I believe, that all of us, we all have a choice, right? We don't have a choice what happens to us, but we definitely have a choice how we move forward with that choice. These last couple of years, I've learned a lot of lessons. There were areas that I needed to be broken down so that I could heal in places that didn't feel good to other people, nor did it feel good to myself. But God placed me in a pit, and I had a decision to make. From that pit, I don't see the walls around me. I didn't see the walls around me. I saw that I could look up, and I knew that the one person that I could focus on, or the one being, was God. That is what was going to save me and get me to the next stage. I had a decision to make. The decision was for me to be better as a daughter, better as a wife, better as a sister, better as a person. That was a choice that I made because I knew those hurt places in me caused hurt in other people. We may not directly be mistreating people and things of that nature, but sometimes how we carry ourselves, it could be anything about us that could be negatively impacting either what we're supposed to do in this world as our purpose, or anything, right? And so God will put you in a place where things happen and you're looking around like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Especially with loss. We still have a choice, right? Because the only thing that is guaranteed is life and death. While I'm alive, I chose to want to heal. I chose to want to face those places, apologize to people, be a better person, and not only just because it was something I wanted, because it actually wasn't anything I wanted. I just wanted to be better because I knew that the purpose that was in me was bigger than what I was doing. And for me, I felt like that was disrespectful to God to continue to move with such hurt and such anger and just so many things that was holding me back. So I share this right now because Christmas is tomorrow. Christmas Eve is tonight. The holiday season is very hard for people. Just certain times are hard for people. What I can tell you is that out of that, what did you hear? We don't have a choice what happens to us, but we have a choice what we do with it, right? Even in slavery, Joseph had favor. Even after being falsely accused of rape because he was being loyal, he still kept a good attitude. And that's not something that people do these days. Even if there is something that has happened wrong to you, that doesn't give you a right to do some of the things that we do, right? We feel like, well, this happened, so I have the right to do this. No, you don't, because that makes you just as bad as the person who hurt you. We don't have a right to misbehave. What we have a right to do is make a decision, and make a decision based on those same values that you wanted somebody else to have when they did something that was not okay to you. Is it easy? Sometimes it's not, but I can tell you that that's guaranteed too. We're going to keep having tests, keep going through things. The quicker that you adjust, figure out what God is trying to teach you, get something good from it, even if it's as small as a mustard seed, and move forward with it, the better each trial and tribulation comes. The ones that I have experienced in the last 3 years have broken me down to I literally felt like my heart was going to fall out of my body. But even in that, I never thought of revenge. I never thought of wanting somebody else to hurt the way that I hurt. Let me correct that. That's a lie. I did at some point. I wanted them to feel exactly what they did to me. And God is still working on me if that is not okay. But eye for an eye is in the Bible too. Moving right along. I did not want to do it to them. Because see, you cannot be somebody's karma. You can't. If you set out to do it, now you have caused karma to now want to come back to you. So all I can tell you is that these things will continue to happen. Life is not fair. It doesn't always do what it's supposed to, but we have the choice to do what we're supposed to. And the more of us that do that, the better this world will be. All we can control is how we move forward. So when I am asked, how can I forgive? How do I want to still move forward with certain relationships? How do I still work with certain people? Just different things. It's because I wasn't perfect. I am not perfect. I have done things that I sincerely and wholeheartedly appreciated somebody telling me that I was doing. And I changed to be better. What if nobody ever gave me a second chance? What if everybody still held me to the cross of what some of the things that I was accused of doing that weren't even true? And there are some that will, and there are some that do, because those people haven't healed yet. And so they are trying to still make something that you did, something that you didn't do, the forefront of who you are. But you know who you are. You know how you're moving forward. And if you're doing it with an open and sincere heart, all you can do is keep trying. There will be people that are very, very close to you that you forgive, that you try, that you love, that you give, that you open up to, that you just give everything with your whole heart, and it doesn't come back the same way. I will tell you that for everything that you are willing to pay into that relationship, is what I call it, do what you can do and what you want to do. When it gets to a place that you become angry, you have to stop, because now you're not doing it from an open heart. But it doesn't matter what anybody else says, because everybody doesn't understand your assignment, your relationship with God, what your relationship is with a certain person. You may know what that real person is like and what they're going through, and so you give some exception to certain things. That's between you, God, and that person. Keep praying through whatever you're going through this season. I know that it's not easy. I'm very open and transparent with followers, my nonprofit girls, my family, whomever that I need to be honest with, because it's always a work in progress, and it's always going to be there. That's for all of us. But have an open heart. Be forgiving. Don't nail people to the cross if they haven't done certain things. Y'all know what my one thing is, that I can't. Don't ever touch a child. However, the other things that are so small, don't hurt people. Don't. Because the same way that you're doing that, your turn is coming, because we're not perfect, right? And whether intended or unintended, you also can't control how somebody reacts to your mistake. But what you can do is lead by example. And if you showed and cared for them with love and forgave and moved forward and tried your best, you can't expect that that will come back to you. It may not be from that person, but it'll be from somebody else. And that's okay. So whomever is going through something this season, I know that there's a lot of loss, from Toni Braxton and her sister to me and several people that I've gone through. At the end of the day, we're all human, and celebrity or not, hurt is hurt. And my only ask is that if you are doing something to hurt somebody, and you're doing it out of fear that they don't really forgive you, out of pride, out of ego, out of this anger you developed in this narrative that you've created in your brain because the people around you, you've brought them into this space. It's never too late to fix it. And an honorable man or woman, an honorable man or woman is far more appreciated, far more rewarded in the end. I know that sometimes admitting things, or coming back and saying X, Y, and Z happened is hard, because some people lie. You did something you shouldn't have. You have a confession. Whatever it is, that is how you begin to get over that hump, and it opens your heart, and it opens the things that God has in store for you through the very people that you are hurting. So my ask is, please, in this season, whatever it is, put yourself aside and your ego, and bring your heart and your conscience to the forefront. And if there's apologies you need to make while people are still here, if there's things that you need to do to better yourself, I can promise you one thing: the people that love you will surround you, and they'll embrace you, and they'll receive you, and give them time to absorb, to digest what the new thing is that they just heard. But it's a process for everybody, and a process avoided, the flames just get higher. The hurt just gets higher. The price is higher. So that's my ask. Be who we say we are, and do your very best, because you can't move forward without closing old wounds, fixing old problems, the ones that you can fix. Because once somebody is not here, you don't have another chance. And half of the reason why some people is hurting is because of the guilt that you have is overcoming you. But you can free yourself from that. And I wholeheartedly pray that somebody receives this message and it helps them. Everything I do is from a place of, I have gone through it, I am going through it, and I just want better for everybody. This one thing you ever remember about me is that in this season, I'm allowing my heart to be my heart, even if it returns hurt, because that is the true Asia. I live from a place of sincerity and of love and vulnerability, and that is my truth that I am walking in. Happy holidays to you and your family. I'm sending cyber hugs, virtual hugs to everyone who needs one, and an open prayer. Just open your Bible and it'll land on what you need. May God bless you and your families. Have a nice night.